Hello, everybody. This is Joseph P. Farrell with news and views from the Nefarium on Thursday, early in the morning, Thursday, January 17th, 2019. There is no vid chat this Friday. That's tomorrow. There will be one next week. And a surprise guest next Wednesday for the member dialogues. Crossing my fingers and hoping that guest will be able to make it because I'm really excited about doing that interview. Anyway, I'm sure you've all heard by now that things in the United Kingdom are weird. Okay. Prime Minister Theresa May suffered a crushing defeat in Parliament on her negotiated Brexit deal. We're going to get into why that happened. And then she survived a no confidence vote shortly after that was brought by the opposition leader, Mr. Jeremy Corbyn of the Labour Party, and some of the smaller opposition parties in the House of Commons. She survived that. Now, the article I've linked here is from USA Today. It's probably for American media the most up to date in terms of why the Brexit deal is causing so much consternation among the people that support Brexit. All right. And we're going to get into that a little bit. I'm going to be reading several paragraphs from this article. I think for those of you who are not really familiar with what's been going on with this is probably about the best, shortest summary. It's in terms of length. It's fairly decent. Anyway, here we go. British Prime Minister Theresa May survived a no confidence vote in her government Wednesday after a stinging defeat in Parliament over her Brexit deal to leave the European Union. The result means she stays in power for now. May won the attempt to oust her from power by 325 to 306 votes. That's a rather thin margin. It's almost about the same amount of votes that the coalition party that is from Northern Ireland in her government brings to the table. So it's a thin margin, but she did survive. And continuing, she has until Monday to devise a new Brexit plan acceptable to lawmakers. Her opponents have not ruled out calling further no confidence votes. In a short statement in the House of Commons after the vote, May said that she would continue to work to deliver on the solemn promise to the people of this country to deliver on the result of the referendum and leave the European Union. She said, quote, "We must find solutions that are negotiable and command support," unquote. May lost Tuesday's vote on the deal she made with the EU to leave the bloc by 432 to 202. In other words, that meant a considerable portion of her own Conservative Party voted against her on the deal. Although the defeat was widely expected, the scale of the loss was not. And it was this, the largest parliamentary defeat of any British Prime Minister, that led to the calling of Wednesday's vote by opposition Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn. Still, this is very crucial, folks, even though many members of her own ruling Conservative Party voted against the exit deal because they said it keeps the UK substantially tethered to the bloc, they still like and back May as a leader. She survived another confidence vote late last year. For many British lawmakers, the most contentious part of May's EU deal, and here's the central issue, is the Irish backstop, a largely unresolved issue to do with the land border between Northern Ireland, part of Britain, and Ireland, part of the EU. Years of peace between Northern Ireland's Irish Catholic community and its British Protestant one have been ensured by the free trade and travel across that border that EU membership allows. And that, in a sense, in essence, is the sticking issue. It's a complex problem involving both border national sovereignty, the feeling of many people that voted for the Brexit that they're being overrun in Great Britain, as elsewhere in Europe, with refugees from a culture that's very foreign to British culture. That's part of the issue. And with an open border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic, really the borders would stay open. In other words, you could have refugees transiting into Great Britain through that open border. That's the Irish backstop that is part of Prime Minister May's Brexit deal. So that's the sticking issue. It's a complex of refugees and the open border with the Irish Republic. That would essentially allow the EU to kind of, in the thinking of many people who oppose her deal, would allow the EU to have some measure of influence over Great Britain even after the Brexit. So my suspicion is that Prime Minister May, she's going to have to make a decision, and I have a feeling that in order to stay in power and to assuage that wing of her party, she may have to get rid of that Irish backstop, and that, of course, means that as far as the EU is concerned, then that the Brexit deal, which was negotiated with that deal with Northern Ireland and the border with Ireland, that deal would be off, and then we'd be facing a hard Brexit. Now, the problem here is that from what I can gather, and I'm not in the UK, those in the UK may be able to give us a better idea, but from what I can tell here in the media coverage here, there's all sorts of dire warnings about bad economic recessions and so on and so forth if Great Britain goes ahead with the Brexit deal. And of course, Labour is pushing for yet another referendum. In other words, if you don't get the voting results you like in an election, just keep pushing until you change the election results and get what you want. I suspect that all of that doom and gloom is overstating the case. I think Great Britain would be well positioned to kind of try to revitalize the Commonwealth as a trading bloc and as a soft culture power card. The other problem that's happening, as far as I can tell, is there has not been that much linkage between the anti-EU forces in Great Britain with those anti-EU forces that we see emerging all across the continent of Europe, in Italy, the new government there, in Hungary, certainly in France, and in the Netherlands. It remains to be seen if that will emerge. I suspect it will be iffy if it does, because the people within the Tory party that want the Brexit want it basically so that they're not encumbered with any EU problems. And so that makes any sort of linkage with that group of people on the continent very problematic. So it's going to be interesting to see what Prime Minister May comes up with by next Monday, if she comes up with anything. I suspect that she could be facing a rather severe leadership challenge if she's not willing to give up that Irish backstop that has been the sticking point in her negotiated deal with the EU, as far as her own support within the Tory party goes, and also that support that she gets from the Irish, from the party from Northern Ireland that is part of her negotiating coalition. So a lot of stuff going on here, folks. This is a story to watch. It's not going to be over yet. The next few days are going to tell us a lot about the direction she intends to go. I have been told by a few people in the UK, I don't know how widespread of a feeling this is, that some people think that she's been trying deliberately to drag her feet on this whole Brexit thing because she was not in favor of it to begin with. So I don't know if that's true or not, if there's any substance to that accusation. Maybe that's why she faced such an overwhelming defeat in that vote in the House of Commons on her Brexit deal. Definitely one to watch, folks. This is not going to go away soon. We'll see you on the flip side. Don't forget, tomorrow there is no members vid chat. That will be a week from tomorrow, and that will be the late vid chat about 6:30 U.S. Central Time for the Americas Pacific members. And then next week, also, I think on Wednesday, I'm having a special surprise guest for the members dialogue this month that I'm really looking forward to. I'm hoping the guest will be able to make it. Anyway, that's it for today's news and views. Watch this one, folks. Any information you have about it will be helpful. Pass it along to me. I'm always interested in your thoughts and articles that you find. Anyway, we'll see you on the flip side, everybody. Bye-bye, and God bless.